Hey, I haven't done one of these review aftermaths since the Prince of Persia, my Prince of Persia review. Um, I kind of abruptly ended my Final Fantasy 3 review, and the main reason is I ran out of time. But it's hard to kind of review that game. Um, I picked it up because it was finally released outside of Japan. I mean, it was a game that was part of the main series that was never released out here. And, now American gamers get a chance to play it. And this was my chance to play it, and it was 30 bucks. It was cheap, and I bought it. Now, I did, some research, and I saw what people thought of it before buying it, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to spend the money on it. I also saw people's review on Final Fantasy IV. Final Fantasy IV was hailed as, the right way to remake one of the older Final Fantasies. And I guess Final Fantasy III, on the other hand, although not a bad game, not a good example of how to remake one. I mean, that's why I tried to point out in my review of Final Fantasy III that Final Fantasy III and Final Fantasy IV are part of the same franchise, although 4 is definitely the better game, hands down. So when you remake 4, it's going to be a better remake than if you remade Final Fantasy 3, because Final Fantasy 3 to begin with sucked. The source material for remaking it just isn't that good. So I'm not saying that this isn't a good game. I mean, if you're a fan of Final Fantasy and you want to have the experience of either owning or playing through the entire main series, you gotta play it as a game. You gotta get it, and you might as well go through it. I mean, it's not a bad investment of time. But if you're not a big fan of the Final Fantasy series, and you're looking for a really good remake of a series and something to play on the DS, this game was definitely not it. But it's circumstantial. Is what I'm trying to say, and I'm probably doing a poor job of illustrating that and voicing it. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this aftermath, to kind of just clarify that as an RPG, it's kind of fun. As a completion kind of perfectionist, kind of playing through all the main series, it's something to experience. But I gotta say that unless for some reason the Japanese version is better than this remake, I'm gonna stand by what I said, and it's definitely the very bottom rung on the ladder of Final Fantasy, which is overall it's kind of disappointing. It's kind of a letdown, but I can look past the negative qualities and the poor job, of the story, and just kind of sit back and say, I've experienced this game for about 60 hours. From what I've played of it, it wasn't a bad investment. I enjoyed it. It was fun while it lasted, but it's definitely, I can see it for what it is, and that's the overall goal that I wanted to get across in my review. Um, it didn't live up to the hype. I see why it wasn't released outside of Japan. If you played the game, you'll probably see the reasons why. But overall, it's an enjoyable game. Um, um, so that's basically my final say on the whole Final Fantasy 3 kind of frontier. Um, and there you go.